democratic society like ours, the spirit of independence and freedom can only thrive if our basic and fundamental rights are well preserved. Supreme Court of India has always been the vanguard of our democratic, political, legal and fundamental rights. Ever since the Supreme Court of Independent India came into existence, it has delivered a plethora of verdicts that have gone a long way in ensuring that our personal liberty and rights are not trampled upon. As the celebrations for the 75th anniversary of our independence begin shortly, we take a quick look at the top 6 judgments that shaped our nation. But before that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our portal. Keshwanand Bharti case. This case of 1973 is considered to be the most landmark ruling in the history of India. This was the case that brought out the doctrine of basic structure. Justice H.R. Khanna propounded this basic structure doctrine and held that the Constitution of India contains some essential elements that cannot be changed or eliminated by legislative changes. In this case, a constitutional bench had ruled by a 7-6 verdict that Parliament could amend any part of the Constitution as long as it did not alter or amend the basic structure or essential features of the Constitution. The underlying idea behind this verdict was that a few features of the Constitution should not be altered to such an extent that the identity of the Constitution is lost in the process. Vishakha Guidelines. This judgment formed the basis of the POSH Act, that is, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplaces Act. The court delved into the deep-rooted gender inequality in Indian society, which manifests itself in the form of violence against women, specifically in the form of sexual harassment at workplaces. The Supreme Court, while looking into the issue, also had to decide whether it was willing to lay down elaborate guidelines to deal with the same. The court rose to the occasion and came up with several guidelines to stop sexual harassment at workplaces. These guidelines are popularly known as Vishakha Guidelines. These guidelines have gone a long way in ensuring safety of women at workplaces. Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India. In 2018, the Apex Court struck down a colonial-era law that criminalized homosexual acts as an unnatural offence. The court overruled its previous judgment given in Suresh Kaushal case and declared Section 377 as unconstitutional as it violated Article 14, 15, 19 and 21 of the Constitution. This was one of the major landmark judgments of Supreme Court given in regard for the right of equality of LGBTQ community in the country. Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. In 2012, Mumbai police had arrested 2 young girls for posting allegedly offensive and objectionable comments on Facebook about the propriety of shutting down Mumbai after the death of a political leader. Jadavpur University professor Ambikesh Mahapatra was arrested for forwarding caricatures of Trinamool Congress chief Mamata Banerjee on Facebook. Activist Aseem Trivedi was also arrested for drawing cartoons lampooning Parliament and the Constitution to depict their ineffectiveness. All these were held under Section 66A of the Information Technology Act. In 2015, the Apex Court struck down this section of the Act, calling it open-ended and unconstitutionally vague, and thus expanded the contours of free speech on the internet. Triple Talaq verdict. In 2020, the top court held the practice of triple talaq followed in the Muslim community in the country to be unconstitutional. This verdict was welcomed by all sections of the society, and the verdict had sent a clear message that the judiciary is not going to ignore the plight of Muslim women. Right to privacy judgment. In August of 2017, a 9-judge bench of the Supreme Court in Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India unanimously held that Indians have a constitutionally protected fundamental right to privacy that is an intrinsic part of life and liberty under Article 21. This landmark judgment fundamentally changed the way in which the government viewed its citizens' privacy, both in practice and prescription. The top court further declared that the state must strike a careful balance between individual privacy and the legitimate goal at all costs, because fundamental rights cannot be granted or taken away by legislation, and all laws and activities must be consistent with the Constitution. These were the top 6 verdicts by the Honorable Top Court that not only protected various rights but also enlarged their domain. We hope you liked this new video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our portal for such interesting updates. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to One India channel and never miss an update.